Okay, let's talk about Dune 2. This is directed by Denis Villeneuve. This is the sequel to the Dune film from 2020. And I will say and start off by saying, wasn't the biggest fan of the first Dune, but let me tell you, this one completely changed my mind on how I feel about Dune. So before we get into anything else, make sure you're subscribed, hitting the notification bell. On the road to 30,000 subscribers, less than 2,000 to go. Super excited to get to that before South by Southwest in a couple of weeks. So make sure you're subscribing, but let's get into this one. So this movie picks up just right where the last one left off, as we see Paul trying to continue on his father's legacy, and we see him with the Fremen as well as with Chani, and we have some new foes on the horizon. But let's get into this film and everything I enjoyed. So first and foremost, that cast was stacked always. From the beginning, when we first heard about the announcement of additional characters and additional cast joining the film. So we already know Timothée Chalamet is in this. We have Zendaya, we have Florence Pugh, we have Bautista in this, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Austin Butler, as well as Rebecca Ferguson, Léa Seydoux, also Christopher Walken. So a very, very big cast in this film, just like in the first one. And honestly, when you have a big cast, you always wonder if every actor is going to get a time to shine, if they're really going to have this moment to really stand out for themselves. And I can tell you, everybody in this film gets that moment where they are the centerpiece and they are just excelling at it. And this film's almost 3 hours long. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. And I was very concerned with the runtime at first, wondering if they were going to be able to make a runtime that felt smooth, where you didn't really know what was happening. And let me tell you, after those 2 hours and 15 minutes, I was there ready to watch another 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's how invested I was into this whole film and how much I was enjoying myself with it. It was just one of those films that has the action cranked up to the max, but at the same time doesn't give away its love story, its story about hope, its story about religion, fanaticism, and just all of these things that it's talking about at the same time. It doesn't lose you in any of that. It pretty much was like Oppenheimer, I feel, where it was doing so many things and talking about all these different points and characters, but it was able to blend them seamlessly together, and I was just blown away by that. Now, I'm just talking about story in itself, but here I think what really shines is the spectacle and the vision that Denis has from the beginning, alongside with their cinematographer, Greg Fraser, because there are moments in this movie, I saw it in IMAX, by the way, and I believe that's the way to see it, because there are some scenes that are shot so wonderfully and amazing and grand and vivid that you lose yourself as you're watching it. Like, honestly, there's the scene with Austin Butler's character, and I think you've seen it in the trailer and all of that, when they're in the Coliseum and all of that. Oh man, when that scene came on and the aspect ratio and all of that just changed, it was something completely different. There is these moments that Austin Butler has in it as the haunting character that he plays, Faye Rotha, that is just incredible. Austin Butler has been one of those actors that I've loved to see their progression as they have gone into their career more and more, and I think that they have such a bright future ahead, because this character was honestly haunting from beginning. Like, the first frame they have of this character was just one of the most insane and dark things I've seen, and you just really felt this character, you wanted to not be around him at all. They just play this character amazingly, and they have some moments with Timothy as well that I think are going to be some of the people's favorite scenes, honestly. Just one of these moments had me holding my breath, just wondering what was going to happen, and just excited to see this on the big screen, honestly. Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya returning as well as the leads here, and their chemistry was great, honestly. I was wondering how that would read on this film, and since we didn't get enough Zendaya in the first film, I was very curious how Zendaya would be in this, and I think that honestly Zendaya really steals every scene that they are in. They have this presence to them, as well as this sort of character that isn't too entirely sure of Timothy's character of Paul from the beginning, and then sort of starts to be a little bit softer about them, and all of these wild changes that happen as well between both of them are felt to so much. There's some moments in this movie that don't have dialogue between the characters. It's just facial expressions, body language, and all of that. And I think that they really sell those so well, especially Zendaya. Like, her eyes and everything really tell a whole story without her saying a word. And I really thought that was some of the most powerful moments in the film as well. I think that the soundtrack here from Hans Zimmer as well is so pounding and pulsating throughout the film that you really feel, especially in some of the scenes with all of the action going on, and you have these explosions, you have these characters talking and all of that. And then just behind all of that is this soundtrack that is just incredible to listen to. And there's one moment in particular with Paul and the rest of the Fremen people that I thought was just one of the most insane and incredible scenes I've seen in a long time. And I want to talk more about it, but I don't want to give too many spoilers. I'll talk about that in my Ending Explained video where we just talk spoilers. So if you want to catch that, catch it. If you hate Ending Explained, don't watch it. But I really did dig Hans Zimmer's soundtrack here that is filled with so many of these very incredible instrumentals. So these vocals that are very haunting and fit the desert theme of the film. And another one I really have to talk about when I'm talking about the actors is Rebecca Ferguson's character here, where I haven't seen Rebecca Ferguson be this intimidating and scary since Rose the Hat, and that is still one of the most horrifying characters she has played. But here it sort of amplified a little bit more as they are using faith and religion, and it was such a scary thing to see, honestly. I was hesitant to watch this film, like I said at the beginning, because I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Dune, but I think I see Denis' vision clearly here. I feel like the first Dune really set all of this up, and I definitely do want to give that one another chance. I haven't watched it since it came out, and I really feel I did a disservice to it by watching it on a small screen, because I feel like if this was on the bigger screen, maybe I would have felt a little bit different, because this movie really captured me from the beginning. And I really felt like this was one of those movies that is so special, and I think as the years go by, it will be seen as something like Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, The Empire Strikes Back, Terminator 2, those sequels that just amplified the franchise to another level. And I think that Timothée Chalamet is just one of those actors as well here that just is showing their range more and more in each of these movies. And you really see that there's something special going on here, because their transformation from Paul at the beginning of this film to the end of this film, it feels like two different characters, and it was just such an insane ride to see it all happen as we progressed more and more into the film. We'll say if you aren't that big of a fan of the first Dune or really haven't been keeping up much with it, I think the film does a great job at looping you into everything that's going on at the same time as well, which is always something that's important to me, because I know many people just go to the theater to watch anything that's playing. Maybe they didn't watch the first Dune and they're going to watch this one. Will they be lost? And I think the answer is no. I think that Denis really does a great job at really presenting everything that happened in the previous film and showing us what happens and what are the sort of stakes in this film because of the previous film, which I think always means it's just good screenwriting. And I think that just showcases how incredible Denis Villeneuve and Jon Spaihts are at the screenwriting process of the film, because I think that for a book, a lore that is so complex, they really made it so straightforward at everything that was happening here and the stakes that were at hand because of the film. So definitely excited to see what they do with the next Dune film, because apparently Denis said that it's nearly done, the Dune Messiah script, but they're not entirely sure when they will be filming that, and that will be the continuation to this last part where we left off in Dune 2. So yeah, overall, honestly, I don't have anything to nitpick about the film except the fact that I wanted to see more as soon as the credits rolled. I was ready to see what was going to happen next, and I just wanted that movie already. That's my only nitpick about it. We give Dune 2 5 stars out of 5. We think it is one of the best sci-fi films of all time, one of the best films of all time, and also this is going to be one of those movies that stands the test of time. I think in decades from now, people will be looking back at this as we have looked back at films such as Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, as we look at films such as 2001 Space Odyssey, because the technicality, the cinematography, everything is here on another level, unlike we've seen in a long time from a film. And I'm excited to see how people feel about it as well. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on the comments down below. Let me know if you're going to be watching Dune 2. If you've already watched it, did you like it? Did you not? In the comments down below. Make sure you're subscribed. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Super excited to get to that, but honestly, loved it. Definitely watching again. Biggest screen you can find, go watch it. But yeah, check us out on all of our other social medias on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff, as well as our website, www.culturelixir.com, and stay tuned for more updates and all of that. And I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.